first for the Fairmont Firebirds. At forward, a 5'9" senior, number 5, Keira Thornton.
That's what I was talking about.
At guard, 5'8" sophomore, number 15, Valerie Hunninger. At forward, a 6'3" senior, number 21, Maddie Westfeld. At center, a 6'4" senior, number 22, Madison Barkley. And at guard, a 5'7" senior, number 23, Myra Webster. Head coach of the Firebirds is Jeremy Finn. Now let's meet the starting lineup for your Centerville Elks. At guard, a 5'7" junior, number 3, Amy Velasco. At guard, a 5'5" senior, number 10, Emma Stanley. At forward, a 5'9" freshman, number 24, Kendall George. At forward, a 5'10" senior, number 25, Grace Stoller. And at forward, a 5'11" freshman, number 50, Micaiah Schick. Head coach of the Elks is Anna Creeper.
All right, here we are just underway in our MVCC Varsity Women's Game of the Week. Centerville Elks hosting the Fairmont Firebirds. Jerry Bergstrom and Andy Horton bringing you tonight's call. Andy, quickly, who do you think is a player to watch for Centerville as they're in their opening possession?
Well, I definitely think a player to watch would be Cody McCannon. She's averaging 19.5 points a game, and she's coming into the game with 5 straight double-doubles, so she is going to be a problem for Fairmont. And who's a player that you think we have to watch for Fairmont?
I think for the Firebirds, it's going to have to be the sophomore, number 15, Mallory Hollinger. She comes in, she's lethal from behind the arc. She's the next 3 that she makes, you were telling me before the game, will be her 43rd made 3 on the year. She's shooting just a little bit over 43% from behind the arc, and she pulls up and can shoot it at any time, contested or uncontested. So definitely something the Elks are going to have to watch out for tonight. 3 is good there by number 10, Emma Stanley. Now we're going to see the Firebirds start their first possession of the game offensively. Myra Webster, typically the ball general, as Keira Thornton's going to hit the baseline jumper.
That was just poor defense there by Fairmont. They just completely lost her.
Yeah, Centerville collapsed, and you've seen it a lot. We've seen it in the 3 games we've covered. When Bartley and Westbeld collapse down in low in the paint, as Velasco's 3 is no good there. Defenses tend to overcorrect towards the two big ones down low, and it normally leaves either Thornton or Hollinger open for wide open shots, as we saw there. Now you're going to see Thornton is going to have it, kicks it out to Bartley, who is going to be guarded by, it looks like, Grace Stoller. And a turnover there for the Firebirds, something they don't do much. You're going to see Stoller kicks it out. Now Velasco's going to have it at the top of the key. Kicks it over back to Stoller, who's guarded by Webster. That's definitely a height advantage for the Elks. Now Velasco's going to get it back at the Elks logo at half court. And Velasco's only a junior. It seems like we've been calling her name for, it seems like, at least 5 years, but she's been starting good, solid starting minutes since she was a freshman 3 years ago, and it seems like she's been sticking with it as Westbeld intercepts that one, and she's going to go coast to coast, but will be fouled.
That was a bad pass there by Velasco, but it was a great defense by Fairmont, and that was a nice drive to the rim.
Foul is on number 3, Amy Velasco.
But yeah, like you were saying about Velasco, she's a very good scorer. She averages about 14 points a game, and she shoots it about 38.5% from 3. So that's a great way to get playing time if you're able to come in and knock down big shots.
And really what's helped her, I mean, granted, her numbers have fallen off a little bit since her freshman year, but she's also had key help from sophomore Cody McMahon last year. the freshman came on in an eruption and just was a terror for G-Walk and opposing teams throughout Ohio. And she already holds at least 8 or 9 solid D1 offers, and she's only a sophomore.
Yeah, she's just been a beast all season long, and I mean pretty much her entire career, actually, like you were saying.
Velasco's going to drive in, kicks it out to Stoller, and now Stanley gets it back down. Stoller's going to shoot a 3, denied by Westbeld, and now Fairmont's going to trap him in the corner. Barely gets out across.
That was really good defense by Fairmont. Westbeld able to get the block, and then they trapped her in the corner. She almost wasn't able to get it out.
Well, I think that's why she was named a McDonald's All-American 3 weeks ago. First one from the state of Ohio for women,
and there's another steal by Westbeld.
Another forced turnover by Westbeld. I think they said it's like 10 years since the last McDonald's All-American for girls from Ohio. As Hollinger gets it, drives in, scoop shot off in the paint is good.
Mallory Hollinger.
Well, they don't just, Notre Dame doesn't just give out scholarships to anyone, you know.
No. And looking at how Notre Dame is this year, she might go in and have heavy starting minutes going in as a freshman at Notre Dame.
And I would expect nothing less than for her to do, a very good job.
Right, following in her sister's footsteps, Catherine, who's playing professionally over in Australia right now, as Webster almost forces another turnover. I'm surprised the refs didn't call a travel, as that one's been quick to call this year. Now you're going to see Kendall George has it now, kicks it back over to Velasco, and this is what Fairmont does. They tire him out. George, deep 3, but she makes it.
That was like you said, a deep 3, Jared. That was a really nice shot. They moved the ball back and forth. They got the defense to stagnate a little bit, and she was able to get the open look.
And that's something that Fairmont does, that 3-2 zone, and they just cut off any passing lanes as Westfeld's going to drive in, and they're going to call her for a travel.
Yeah, it looked like she was maybe trying to get rid of the ball or something, but she wasn't able to get it out of her hands. There was a lot of traffic in there, and so she turns it over.
It's only the Firebirds' first turnover of the game, though. 3:14 left, tied up at 6.
The Elks have 6 points, and they both have come off of threes. That's something that Fairmont is going to have to watch very closely
Deep threes
tonight,
at that.
because they're shooting 36% from the three-point line this season, and they have a couple of excellent shooters.
And now they're going to tag Westbeld with a foul there down low. It's her first, team second. Now Velasco inbounds it to George, gives it right back to Velasco, and she quickly gets out of that corner because Fairmont is excellent at trapping defense is excellent at trapping in the corner. George back over to Velasco, guarded by Thornton. Now kicks it over to Kenzie Smith, back to Velasco, down low, ball swatted out again. And Westbeld, that's her third block, and she comes in averaging 2.4 a game.
They're actually going to call that one a foul, Jared.
That is on number 15, Mallory Hollinger, her second. And
Molly Scott shooting 2.
Scott at the line shooting 2 for the Elks. First one is up and no good. And now you're going to see Kendall Ketterer check in for Hollinger. And this is what happened our last game against Wayne. She got 2 quick fouls on her, and she had to go to the bench early.
Yeah, you cannot afford to lose some of your important rotation players
And
early.
Scott misses both. Westbeld with the rebound. And Webster's going to bring it up the court now for the Firebirds. Thornton, heavy defense there by Velasco. Thornton drives in, kicks it over to Webster. She's going to drive out to Bartley. Thornton now out to Kettert. That shot was no good. Velasco comes away with the rebound, gives it over to Kenzie Smith. And that one, I think, was blocked again by Westbeld, so that one will be her third block.
Man, when you look at her stat line, you almost don't believe it. She's just an absolute monster. 18.5 a game, 18.5 rebounds a game, 4 assists, 3 steals, and 2.5 blocks. She's just excellent
rebound.
all around.
She's definitely going to fill up all aspects of that stat sheet. Kick out to Ketterer. Thornton's going to launch a 3, doesn't connect, but Westbeld, offensive rebound, hook shot, and count it.
What an effort by Westbeld. She didn't have the best position, but her long arm, she's able to get the rebound anyways, is able to, after she gets the rebound, step through and then make a contested basket. Has a chance to get an extra point here.
Foul was on number 50, Micaiah Ship, her first, team second. Westbeld misses the free throw, though. And, I mean, that's really the only thing that the Firebirds really have to work on coming into tournament time here, probably start and end of next week, is Fairmont. I think they're still shooting like 68% from the free throw line, but I mean, that's really the only thing that you can say the Firebirds need to work on, as Westbeld blocks that three.
For sure, Jared. I definitely agree. 34% from the three-point line, so you wish that was a little better as well, but that's not a bad number. It's just the...
Westbeld's going to shoot a three, but Bartley gets the rebound, and it's going to stay with the Firebirds.
And the crowd does not like that. But anyways, Jared, if you can get that number up to 70% as a team from the free throw line, you have a great chance of winning a state championship.
Now the refs are going to huddle, and they're going to still stick with the call on the court. And now you can see here in front of us, even though Hollinger's on the bench, she's acting like a second coach, standing behind Jeremy Finn, calling out plays.
Yeah, you always love to see a player that's active, even when they're on the bench. They're
Look at the dribbling skills. I'm sorry to interrupt, but Webster's going to launch a three, gets halfway down. Bartley with a long rebound. Shot is no good. Another rebound for Bartley, and the putback is still no good.
That's something that teams have a terrible time stopping when it comes to playing Fairmont. They have two different players that just tower over everyone else, and when they get the position inside, they can get 3-4 extra possessions, and
right
it
there,
just
that was
kills
two
you.
extra for the Firebirds. And you could see the disappointment when Bartley came running back up the court. She was not happy with herself when missing that offensive putback either time. But I mean, the ability to get two straight offensive rebounds with three people around you.
Yeah, and I mean, the reason she looks so disappointed is she shoots 64% from the field.
Oh,
so
yeah,
she expects to make her shots when she puts them up.
Yeah, when she takes her shots, I mean, 64%, and that was a very quick first quarter. That was the final play, and Fairmont leading 8-6.
Yeah, it's a low-scoring first quarter. Definitely not something I would expect from from a game between these two teams, because they each have two different players that are able to fill it up. Velasco and McMahon, they both fill it up for Centerville, and we've been talking about Westbeld and Bartley. They do their job for Fairmont.
I don't think McMahon played in that first quarter.
I'm not even sure if
I just saw her check into the game at the scores table, but I don't think she was in that first quarter, which is kind of surprising.
Maybe she, had an issue she had to take care of. I don't know.
But, I mean, she's going to be in the game now, so definitely going to have to keep an eye on number 23 in white.
Yeah, I would look for that to maybe open up the game for Centerville. When you're missing, even for just a quarter, when you're missing someone that scores 20 points a game, like that's a big chunk of your team.
And that's what happened. That's when Fairmont picked up their second loss of the season against Mercy McCauley out of Cincinnati. I mean, we were talking about the game here before we went on air. I mean, Bartley was playing sick that game, and Westbeld took a finger in the eye halfway through the third quarter and didn't come back in until almost halfway through the fourth. So definitely your two leading scorers for the Firebirds was the leading cause in that loss. Yeah,
there's only so much that you can lose, and there's only so much you can sustain and still be able to win games.
Ketterer kicks it over to Webster. And even in that loss, I mean, the rest of the team and role players and all that kept the game at a handful of points.
What a shot by Westbeld. She's able to get the ball in like the mid block, and she kind of did like a little fadeaway and nice kiss off the glass.
Now you got McMahon's going to have the ball now. She's going to be guarded by Thornton. It's going to be a tough task for Thornton to keep that one, or guard that one. There you're going to see Velasco down low to McMahon, and Bartley comes away with a block.
Her very first possession in, she gets the ball, gets it down in the deep post, and she would have finished, but
as it's swatted away by the Belmont commit.
One of those Twin Towers, able to stop her.
Bartley gives it out to Ketterer, now to Thornton. And it's interesting. Westbell down low to Bartley, and McMahon pokes it away.
That was really good defense there. They had 3 different players jumping at that ball. They know how important it is to stop these guys.
They know that is the bread and butter play for the Firebirds. That's how they get a lot of their points. I mean, you can switch out the players, and it's Bartley feeding it to Westbell, but the other way, Westbell to Bartley, and Fairmont calls a timeout as they were just about at that 5-second inbound limit. But
yeah, that took longer than Coach wanted. He decided he'd take a timeout, save the possession, just in case. Things have just not flown very well for either team on offense so far. I mean, they're both, I'd say both teams are playing pretty good defense, but man, Fairmont, they are getting tons of blocks here early. How many do you got charted, Jared?
I've at least got 5, 3 for Westbell, 1 for Bartley, and I think Ketterer might have had 1 too.
That's a lot for a men's game, and this is a women's game.
It's the women's first in quarter and a half. We've still got almost 3 full quarters of play, and Westbell gets the inbound pass. That one seemed to go a lot quicker.
Much quicker. Executed much better on the ATO.
Ketterer gives it down to Westbell. She's going to be guarded. Kicks it over. Thornton's going to drive into the paint, through the paint. Baseline pass to Webster. 3 is good, and the bank is open at 7:40 at night here in Centerville.
Now McCannon's going to have the ball on the wing.
And it's weird, Fairmont 2 possessions for the Elks as Thornton comes away and pokes that one, and they're going to come up with a turnover. A lot of bodies on the court for the Firebirds, but they fought for the ball and forced a turnover.
Webster's going to drive in. Webster's going to get the ball taken from her. And they're going to immediately call a travel on the other end. I don't know about that call.
So Fairmont gets the ball back.
I don't even know if she had the ball long enough to be able to travel. But, I mean, that's why I guess I'm not wearing stripes, Jared.
I just saw the far ref who made the call said when she took it, she just took it and moved out. And now a foul down low. And the extra possession for the Firebirds is going to have a foul with it. That was on number 5, Kenzie Smith, her first, team's 3rd. Ketterer inbounds it to Bartley, over to Thornton. And now Webster's going to reset with Velasco guarding her. But back at that last defensive end for the Firebirds, each time, and now they're going to call a illegal movement or a screen.
They're going to call an offensive foul on Bartley. She came in underneath of McMahon and started to try and move her out, and I guess she might have used some elbow or some shoulders. I don't know.
But you can see now a 3rd different person is going to be guarding McMahon on her first 3 possessions. Now Bartley, it was Thornton and then Webster. Now you're going to kick it over. Stanley has it. She's going to kick it back over to Velasco. Now to McMahon. McMahon trying to get separation. A hard screen for the Elks there by and Kenzie Smith shoots a 3.
That was a really nice shot by Kenzie Smith. And the Elks, they only have 3 makes in the game. They're all threes.
All from behind the arc.
But I'll tell you what, Fairmont is playing amazing defense right now against McMahon because.
And they're only giving up 3 deep threes.
Watch every time they come down. Like there's 3-4 guys in the paint every single time she touches the ball. They're not giving her any room. They don't want her to even have a look.
Thornton drives in, and it's going to be a jump ball in favor of Centerville.
As Kenzie Smith able to tie it up. Velasco is going to bring it up. And over to Stanley, back to Velasco.
Now back to Stanley, back to McMahon. And Fairmont played her well defensively the last time out. Velasco fakes the shot, gun around and banks a 3 home.
And in Fairmont, they're going to have to step out because they can't allow this to happen, and they specifically can't allow her to catch fire. Because like we said earlier, she shoots 38.5% from 3.
It seems like the Firebirds are fine with her taking, the Elks taking the threes, as Westbeld answers back with a basket of her own. Because that's the only shot really they haven't had a look from. I mean, Fairmont is smothering defense inside the paint, inside the arc. Velasco is going to drive in, shot. No, she's going to pass it out to McMahon. And I think they're going to tag Thornton with a foul there for the Firebirds.
Fairmont foul number 5 for her first team split. Middle George number 24, Micaiah Schiff number 50. Check in for Centerville.
Inbound pass, has to get it in. Gets it into Stanley.
And it's going to go out of bounds off of Webster.
Centerville's going to retain possession. Stanley in front of the Firebirds bench, and she's going to shoot the 3, and she makes it. Stanley's second made 3, and she ties the game up at 15. Centerville 3 for 3 from behind the arc this quarter.
Hand down, man down, Jared.
Now Webster gives it over to Bartley. Down to Westbeld, and she gets it back. Thornton was left open. I think if Westbrook could have got it to her, she would have shot that 3. Webster's going to drive down low to Bartley. Barton, another turnover for the Firebirds, their first of this quarter, only their third of the game.
That was really nice defense by Centerville, able to keep the ball away from the Fairmont's best player. And with 5 threes, at some point you think, you know, Fairmont, they're going to start defending out there.
And Centerville leads for the first time since it was 3-5.
And on cue, they get
their
bucket
inside the paint.
Probably because Coach Finn is now worrying about the outside. So normally you're looking for an inside-out game. Well, they're working the outside-in game tonight, and it's working.
Webster has it back, gives it back to Kitterer. Back out to Thornton, and Fairmont's just whipping it around the paint. And you see, whenever Westbeld moves in the paint, there's 3 people on her, and Webster's going to shoot a 3. No good as McMahon comes away with the board.
And now that McMahon is playing, she's on her every single possession.
McMahon gets it back, guarded by Westbeld to the left of the key. And she's going to dribble out with 2:20 left in the first half of our our varsity game of the week. McMahon step back jumper, and she airballs that one. But what a save there by the Elks. I mean, and well, look at Stanley steal it with Velasco.
Snuck up behind Westbeld and was able to knock it away.
And you can tell Coach Finn is not happy about that one.
No, it's just lackadaisical, you know, play and just poor awareness.
Ship down low to McMahon, and it's going to go out of bounds, and it's going to
stay
with the Elks.
Everything they can to get McMahon the ball, and
right.
It's just the defense.
It's not working so far.
The defense of the Firebirds has just been outstanding.
Velasco inbound pass gives them right back to her, and she misses the 3. The Elks' first missed 3 of this quarter.
But once again, it was another good
look.
Yeah, it wasn't really contested at all.
Kitterer gives it to Westbeld. Back over to Thornton. Back out to Kitterer. Thornton. Now back Webster. Cross court. Kitterer shoots a 3, and she makes it. Kendall Kitterer answers back with a 3 of her own to give the Firebirds back the lead.
I love watching Kendall Kitterer shoot. Like, it's such a smooth jumper.
Velasco drive to the paint, kick out. George 3 on the way. She can't answer back with one of her own. Right, in the last game we had for the Wayne Warriors, she was 3 for 3 from behind the arc, coming in only shooting 19% in that game.
Yeah, it's so smooth, and like, you wouldn't think of her as a shooter, but she's definitely got a shot.
Yeah, she doesn't take it. Stanley's second 3, no good.
And the foul is going to go on Westbeld.
That's
sending McMahon sending McMahon to the line.
Her second, team 6.
McMahon at the line shooting 2.
Cody McMahon shooting 2.
With what will be, if she makes it, her first make of the game. First points of the game.
She makes that one.
Corey Carter, number 12, Checks in for Maddie Westfeld for the Firebirds.
Love to see the confidence. We had some opposing fans here chanting air ball, and when she drains it, she just goes and looks them off.
Second one is up and good.
She's going to check out.
Something must be wrong with her, maybe an illness or something. Not going to speculate, but I mean, normally she's in almost a full game when she's on.
Yeah, and tonight she's played very limited minutes.
And Fairmont is going to hold it for the last shot here. Webster dribbling out the clock, 25 seconds left and counting. Centerville up 19-18 though. 15 seconds left and counting, no pressure at all. I'm surprised Centerville's not going to at least put up something. And now they're going to, Firebirds are going to go in motion. Kick out to Carter. Carter shoots a deep three, and Ketterer almost comes up with the rebound. Velasco up to Stanley at the buzzer, and it counts.
That was an excellent pass by Velasco. Great vision. That's why she averages 4 assists a game. She was able to get the ball after the rebound and just push it up court real quick, and then get the layup at the buzzer. That's a great way to close off the half.
With I didn't think there was going to be enough time for her to push it up court, but she put that ball on a line and sent it up to Stanley to get that buzzer-beating shot. Centerville leading 21-18 at the half in our varsity game of the week. Close first half. We'll definitely have to stick back or join us back after halftime for this one. All right, we are just about getting ready to start the second half of our MVCC Varsity Game of the Week, but we're going to be joined now by Fairmont's head coach Jeremy Fielding. Fielding, you've been around your dad quite a few games this season. Fairmont's down 3 at the half, but what do you think your dad told him at halftime?
Probably to get better. That's what I think.
Yeah, Fairmont turned it over a few times there at the end of the first half, missed a few shots, but I don't think your dad's worried. The team's playing great. I mean, coming in with a 15-2 overall record, I think that the Firebirds are going to do great, and hopefully we can see them come back in this game. I mean, it's only a 3-point game, so we got a lot of basketball left.
Yeah.
And who do you think is a player we need to watch out for the Firebirds the rest of this game?
Well, I think the Centerville Elks should watch out for most of our seniors, because we have really good seniors.
Yeah, the senior class, all 5 of them are excellent, and looks like they're going to be the starting 5 out on the court. But I mean, really, Madeline Westfeld's been playing lights out, 10 points and like almost 9 rebounds in the first half. So definitely, I think that one's probably going to be the major one they should watch the rest of the game.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
Do you think your dad has the team ready for tournament play starting next week?
Yeah, I think so.
They drew the number 1 seed last week.
Yep.
And so they're going to play Stebbins in the first round. I mean, you can't overlook any team, but
that's going to be a hard one for Dad, because he coached Stebbins a few years, so that's going to be hard.
So definitely going to be one to watch out for.
Yep, that's a fun one. That's going to be good.
But we'll be back just before tip-off. Thank you, Fielding, for joining us. And if you want to join us throughout the rest of the game, you're more than welcome to sit up here with us, and we can put you on whenever. All right.
Yep. All right.
There we go. We just had Coach Finn's son, Fielding, joining us for a little analysis breakdown of his dad. And now we're getting ready to start this second half. Andy, what do you think the Firebirds have got to work on? I mean, Fielding said the turnovers is something that the Firebirds have got to work on.
Well, I would definitely agree with Fielding, but also they had to play better defense on the three-point line. The first 15 points for the Elks all came from threes, so like they're gonna have to lock down out there. They shoot 36% on the season as a team, Centerville does. So if they can keep that up, that'll be great for them. But Fairmont, they're definitely gonna have to lock that up.
Right. And for Fairmont offensively, I think you just got to keep feeding it to Westbell down low. She seems to not be able to. I think she's missed one shot.
Yeah, they're insane, man. Like, and those two twin towers down there are almost unstoppable.
They're going to call Bartley for they're going to call Westbell for the foul.
I didn't see what happened there,
I didn't
Jared.
either, and they're going to pull Westbell out. This is the first time in a long time I've seen her take a game out unless if the team wasn't at a commanding lead. But 3 fouls, you cannot afford to have almost anonymously your best player, leading scorer, leading rebounder on the bench, or in foul trouble, I meant.
Yeah, you can't lose her before the fourth quarter, and so you got to play it safe and pull them out. But Coach Finn is probably hot right now, and understandably.
You can see he's mad, but he kept his composure. And I think 9 minutes into the second half, you got to keep your composure. You can't afford to get a technical there.
For sure. I've known him for about 5 years, and that's something he's always been very good at.
Right.
He's always been able to keep his cool, you know.
Yeah, I mean, in the past 2 years him being at Fairmont, I've covered him quite a bit, and he's really kept his composure unless it's like been a shellacking that the refs are missing. And I've seen him lose his cool a few times, slam the clipboard down or slam the papers down out of his hand, but I mean, that's something you got to do in high school. You got to keep your composure.
Yep. Because
players feed off of that, how the coach acts.
For sure.
And Ship's going to drive in, loses it, and it's going to go back to the Firebirds.
Yeah, and you have to understand that as a coach, it can be very, very frustrating at times, but you just got to stay cool. And
and you see there, he's giving the coach an earful and coaching at the same time.
Yeah.
But I mean, with Westbell on the bench, I bet a lot of feeding down low is going to go to Westbell or Bartley. Thornton's going to drive in, shot off the paint's good.
That was a nice little drive by Thornton. She was able to get the defender out of position with a little up fake and able to squeeze around her on the baseline.
And that's what Thornton's shots are almost the entire this year. She's either getting easy drives to the paint, Velasco's three on its way and no good, but an offensive rebound, it tipped out of bounds and they're going to stay with go back to the Elks. But it's either that or she's stealing the ball and going to easy coast-to-coast layups. You see George gets the inbound pass. Now they're going to whip it around. And you see McMahon's not on the court to start the third quarter either. And that one was thrown away.
Yeah, you definitely got to wonder what's wrong with her, why she's not out here. And it's very disappointing for Centerville. It's 1 point lead right now, but if she would have, if she were playing out here the whole game, how would it change?
Right. Hollinger gets the ball. She's on the court. She has 2 fouls, so she's got to play a little bit conservative too. Webster gives it back out to Thornton. Hollinger, and I know that fake is, to just the normal person watching live on Facebook or on YouTube now, that fake might not mean anything, but I've seen Hollinger go for the fake and shoot it.
Yeah, she's someone that she gets a lot of people to bite on the fake because we've talked about she's made 42 threes this season, so you always have to have an eye on her.
Right. Hollinger calling for it. She's going to shoot it, and Hollinger can't answer, but an offensive rebound for Bartley. Put back and one.
Just like we were talking about, Hollinger, she got the ball. She was wide open. She didn't make it that time, and that's an anomaly. That doesn't happen very often. But then Bartley able to get the offensive rebound, take the contact, and put it in off the glass. What a beautiful play.
Foul was on number 10, Emma Stanley. That was her first, team's first. And you see McMahon checks back into the game for the Elks. Bartley's free throw is up and good, and it gives the Firebirds a 2-point lead. First time they've led since it was 18-17 just before the half. Velasco's going to square up, shoots a 3. That was off target, and it's going to go back to the Firebirds. Centerville kind of hitting a brick wall against the 3. Who've missed 6 of their last 8.
Yeah, I feel like he had to take better shot selection. And McMahon, she was almost able to secure that rebound. You saw her fly in there at the last second, but not quite able to pull it down.
Webster takes it off the Bartley screen, guarded by Velasco. Kicks it over to Thornton. Thornton back to Ketterer. Back out Hollinger. She shoots the 3, and it's no good. Oh, it is good! What the friendly roll for Hollinger, and that's her 43rd made 3 of the season.
That one hit the rim about 3 or 4 times and
I thought it was just going
in.
to roll out, and surprising that it rolled in. What a bounce there for the Firebirds as they stretch their lead out to 5 now.
Now, Centerville's got to be careful. They can't allow this to get out of hand because it could very quickly.
Right. Once Hollinger makes that first one, it's like starting a wildfire. George at the other end. Her 3 is good. She answers back with one of her own. That was Stanley.
That was a nice shot by Stanley. That's her 13th point of the game. She's been the go-to girl in this game.
Now you're going to come back the other way. Hollinger gives it almost thrown away by Bartley. Webster's going to drive in. Hollinger, Thornton in the corner.
She thought about it.
And she hesitated. I think if she could have got it and shot it in one motion, she would have.
Yeah, I definitely think she wanted to pull that one.
Ketterer has it. She's guarded by McMahon. Gives it off to Webster.
They keep looking for Bartley inside, but McMahon is playing really good against her.
Thornton drive in and not even using the backboard there.
That was a nice little touch shot. Able to flip it up and in. Able to get right past Velasco.
Velasco's going to drive in, kicks it out to Ship, and Makaira Webster forces a turnover. Jump ball, and it's going to go in favor of the fight. Well, it's actually going to go to the Elks. The scoreboard possession arrow's off.
And right now, Fairmont is swarming, Jared.
Yeah, this defense, it's collapsing once again. McMahon on the inbound. Bartley, they're going to tag Bartley with the foul.
I don't know about that one, Jared.
I think that one got all ball.
Yeah. She looked like she went straight up, but...
That's what happens when you're almost a head and shoulder but taller than everybody else.
For sure.
And she misses the first one.
And, you know, when you look at McMahon's game, that's really like the one thing she has to work on.
Is foul shooting.
She shoots 52% from the free throw line.
And she missed both.
And the fact that she, you know, isn't playing a lot is going to hurt that even more tonight.
Right.
You know,
I mean, you're going to have to rely on the foul shots when you get them.
When she's not able to get into the rhythm, so it's going to be harder for her to be able to do that.
And now you see down on the offensive end, Ship's going to guard Bartley. Webster now has it. Webster's going to drive in, and the ball is, they're going to call a foul on I believe that's Stanley, number 10.
See, I don't know about that one. I kind of thought that was a tie-up.
It looked like a tie-up, but I mean, Webster moves so fast that hesitatory tie-up could easily go back the other way.
Yeah, she's a really good point guard, man.
Thornton off the inbound 3 is no good. And it's going to stay with the Firebirds.
That was good hustle to try and keep the ball alive by Hollinger.
And if you're Fairmont, you're happy with that look that Thornton got off the inbound. You faked you got it into Bartley, and everybody collapsed on her.
Yeah, you'll take that every time.
And now Fairmont going to play a little slow here. 3 minutes left and counting. Hollinger, I thought she was going to shoot it again. She's going to drive all the way through the paint.
She's been a little hesitant tonight. Back out to Webster.
Webster's going to give it back. Hollinger, a low pass to Hollinger. I think if she would have caught it right in the numbers, she would have shot it.
Yeah, they're giving her way too much open room.
And there is Hollinger's shot is no good.
Not able to finish that one.
McMahon, what a save. Velasco drives, kicks it out to George. Back to Stanley.
You know, I think you really have to start looking for Stanley because and there they do.
Down low to Ship. Excellent closing defense by Ketterer, and Bartley comes up with the rebound for the Firebirds, and they're going to push the ball up the court quickly.
That's a possession you really have to capitalize on. You can't afford to lose those.
Webster's going to launch a three, and it doesn't even move the net.
The Elks got to they got to figure things out right now.
Right, we were talking about the Firebirds having to watch the three-point defense. Now the Elks have to. Fairmont 3 for 5 from behind the arc this quarter.
Yeah, they've allowed Fairmont to get going, and McMahon just throws it over Ship's head out of bounds.
And kind of questionable here. I mean, Fairmont's on the cusp of making a big run here, and I'm surprised Adam Prefer has not called a timeout for the Elks.
I definitely agree.
And actually, I think he just did. Yeah. So Centerville's going to call a full timeout, down 7, but Centerville's come out and played flat-footed this half. Only one made 3.
Yeah, and just in general, their offense has really lagged. I mean, so I don't know. I think they're going to have to start finding better ways, maybe running some more pick and roll offense or something. They're going to have to find better ways to put the ball in the basket.
And just watching her play tonight, I don't think McMahon is the answer.
Yeah, no, she's whatever is holding her out from not playing the minutes that she normally does. It's affecting her game in a huge way. I think she's only taken 2, maybe 3 shots, and every other time she's touched the ball, it's always looking to pass because, you know, Fairmont, they're not forgetting about her. You know, they still know she's the best player,
right?
And so they're not, you know, if she's injured or whatever the issue is, they're still making her the focal point, and that's, you know, hurting the Elks offense.
Right. The only point she has is two free throws. So Fairmont has the ball here, inbounding up court, and you still see Westfeld still on the bench. And what a hit! I mean, if your team, without your best player on the court, comes back from a 3-point deficit at halftime and going to go up 7 or more at the end of the quarter without having her on the court, and that's something heads up. I mean, 9 seconds she picked up her 3rd foul, and she's been on the bench since.
Yeah, the ability to extend the lead with your best player in foul trouble is you know, a huge advantage for your team. George is going to get the ball. She's going to pass it up
to Kinsey Smith. Back out. Oh, Thornton comes away pokes it away with a steal. Thornton, spin move in the paint, and she answers back.
Beautiful finish by Thornton, and things are looking like they're going to start to get out of hand here.
Yeah, it's only a 9-point lead, but Fairmont is playing like they're on a 20-0 run, it seems like, with how Centerville has not responded.
And you know, Centerville, they haven't been able to put stuff together in a long time.
That three's
so
no
the
good.
Crowd is completely out of it. This sounds like it's Trent Arena right now.
Yeah, Fairmont definitely playing. I mean, even looking at it, I mean, Fairmont definitely has more fans in the stands here on an away game.
Yeah, that's something you see very, very rare.
Kinsey Smith gets the ball, or gets the inbounds, gives it to Stanley with 40 seconds left and counting. Shot's no good. Hollinger comes away with the rebound. And now you hear the Fairmont student section come alive.
That was Emma Stanley, and they've just gone ice cold from outside.
Yeah, Centerville has 1 for 5 now from behind the arc. Hollinger kicks over. Thornton thought about it. Thornton shoots it, and it's no good. McMahon gets the rebound. 10 seconds left, pushing it up court. McMahon move into the paint, won't get the bucket, but she'll go to the line for 2.
That was a hard foul there.
And that'll be Webster's first.
McMahon taking the contact from Webster. Looked like she grabbed her elbow as she was running by and pulled her right to the ground.
And if she misses one of these 2, it turns out to be a smart foul for the Firebirds. And she misses it, so it doesn't get the 2 points, so smart foul here. 5.8 seconds left. Definitely enough time if she makes this for Fairmont to get something up court. She makes the second one. Webster's going to bring the ball up court quickly. 5 seconds left at half court. She's going to blow by Stanley. Tries to get an awkward shot off, And that is how the third quarter is going to end. Fairmont leading 33-25.
And you know, Jared, there's a lot of similarities between this game and the last time these two teams met. Last game, we talked about it earlier, McMahon was unable to get her offense going really. She had 12 points. Now, this game she has 3. And also, last game, Fairmont was able to hold Centerville to 4 points in the third quarter, and they did it once again.
18-4 in favor of the Firebirds that quarter.
It's just, I mean, it's so hard to be able to get things done when your best offensive player is struggling. And with McMahon not able to do like what she does best in this game, and Velasco, she's she hasn't had a lot of very good opportunities either. You know, you have to give a lot of credit to Fairmont's defense, because they have just been suffocating all game long.
All right, going to be back on camera with fielding Finn again.
Yep.
And you think your dad coached him up at halftime there? I mean,
Yeah.
he comes out. I mean, they outscore the Elks 18-4 in the third quarter. So Fairmont definitely working on it. And even with their best player, Westbeld, on the bench in foul trouble, Hollinger was able to knock down 2 huge threes that really started the Firebirds going. You think they can carry it into the fourth and maybe come out with a win here on the road?
Yeah, I think so. Because my dad is just really good at basketball. It's really hard to beat him.
Yeah, and he's proven it so far. It's only 15-2 on the year. Big wins over a lot of talented teams in the state, as Hollinger misses the 3 there and all that. Who do you think we should watch out for the rest of this game on the Firebird side? Who do you think a player we need to watch out for in the fourth quarter?
Maybe Madison Bartley, I guess.
Bartley, we're going to have to watch out for Bart the rest of this game.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll see you back at the end of the game for your end-of-game analysis about how your dad did in this game.
Yep. All right. We'll see you guys soon.
You need to stay seated on the ground and
Cody McMahon finally getting a bucket other than the free throw there for the Elks, trying to claw their way back into this game.
Yeah, and that's really how they're probably going to have to do it. She's going to have to be able to start putting the ball in the basket.
Webster can't answer back with a 3, and Webster
slaps McMahon's hand as she's going by. They're going to call the reach in. Could hear the slap from up here.
Yeah, that one was a hard slap. And you see Westbeld comes back out onto the court to start this quarter. And this is where, I mean, you're a big-time player. You need to make big-time plays without getting in foul trouble.
Yeah, you have to play smart. You have to play aggressive yet cautious, at the same time. That's very hard to do, being able to keep your energy up, being able to attack, but also, do it without fouling, both on offense and defense.
Velasco kicks out, 3 on the way from George, and George knocks it home, cuts the lead in half to 3 points. George's, I think, second made 3, and Centerville forces a turnover.
That was a bad pass there by Webster. She was throwing it down low to Bartley, and it was just off target. And now, all of a sudden, Jared, it's a 3-point game.
I know, the way we were talking about Fairmont, they were up 9 late in that third quarter, and Centerville was on the cusp of, I think, almost coming apart at the seams. But now, I don't know what Prefer said to them at that fourth quarter interchange, but he's got them playing again like it's the first quarter.
Yeah, and they're looking really good right now.
3 from George, can't tie it up, but a leap deep ball, and it's gonna
stay
with the Elks. I was waiting for, and I didn't really see a ref signal anyway.
Inbound to Velasco.
Velasco's going to shoot the 3. It's no good. And a defensive rebound there by Bartley. And that was really doing to Westbeld as she went up for the rebound and cleared out the lane.
Yeah, that was a really nice defensive rebound. They needed that one.
Thornton has it guarded by Velasco to the right of the key. Now out to Bartley. And Hollinger, Westbeld, if you get her driving into the paint, and she was swatted away by
McMahon.
And McMahon, look, I thought she might have hit her arm on the way up. It looked like from our angle. McMahon's turnaround shot is good.
That was a beautiful step back turnaround by McMahon. She's starting to get her flow going, and if they can't slow her down in this fourth quarter, it's gonna be a bad quarter for Fairmont.
Bartley gives it back out to Hollinger, and they're going to call a foul on McMahon.
Yeah, trying to stop Westbeld is so difficult, and to do it without fouling is even more difficult. So you're going to have to take one every once in a while.
You're going to see Thornton inbound it, gets it to Bartley underneath, and Bartley gets the inbound. And you see Westbeld wasn't in on the play. She backed out. That took two people with her, and Madison Bartley got the inbound pass cleanly.
Exactly, Jared. Like, what really are you supposed to do right there? Those two, if they're near each other, they're so hard to guard.
Yeah, you've got two D1 people down low, and Centerville throws it away.
Two D1 people that are both 6'2", 6'3". Like, you know, the length that they have for a women's high school team is absurd.
Gives it down low to Westbeld. Westbeld's going to drive, kicks it out. Hollinger. I think if it was a cleaner pass, and she's going to get it back down low to Westbeld. Ball poked away by McMahon.
And McMahon she's starting to come up big here in the fourth quarter.
Velasco over to Kenzie Smith, back to Velasco, over to George. Ball poked away, but it's going to stay with the Elks.
That's good pressure by Hollinger.
Yeah, an excellent way there to knock it out of bounds.
Yeah, this is the time that, like we were talking about earlier, Fairmont, they're going to have to concentrate on keeping 3-4 players in the paint to be able to watch McMahon, because she's so hard to stop.
And she's starting to light it up, catch fire a little bit.
Yeah, they
McMahon down low,
can't allow her to get going. Goes it into the ship. She's going to go up, get blocked by Bartley. The defense by Fairmont in this game has been sensational.
This is really something you haven't seen from Centerville tonight, is the inbound underneath their own basket. Gives it back to Velasco. She was barely in bounds.
Back to Velasco in the corner. She's going to dribble it up. George up top for three. And that one's in.
The game up. 9 points, 3 for 3 from behind the arc for Kendall George.
And, you know, it looked like Fairmont was going to get away with this game early or late in the third quarter, but the Elks have fought back so hard and playing great defense right now, as McMahon was able to force another turnover. Ball's going to come into Velasco. She's going to bring it up the court.
Under 3 minutes left. Centerville can take the lead here on this possession.
Over to Stanley, who gives it to George. Back to Stanley. Velasco on the wing.
She pumped it like she was going to shoot it.
And
ball poked away. McMahon saves it.
That was good hands by Thornton there on defense, able to knock it away.
Now you see a misadvantage. McMahon's on Hollinger.
And that's not something that you want if you're Fairmont. You don't want for Hollinger to be guarding their best player.
Hollinger's not the best speed defender. She can defend well if she's got space, but if McMahon's up close like that, she can hit a spin move and get away from her.
Yeah, and McMahon's size is just going to be so much different for her. You got to have one of the Twin Towers down there.
As you can see now, Westbeld's on her. As we approach just 2 minutes left in this game, knotted up at 35.
George with the ball up top.
George is going to shoot a deep one, and it's no good.
Rims out. That one almost dropped, and that one would have brought the house down, Jared, as the crowd is much more involved in this game than it was 10 minutes ago.
And that was a huge one-handed rebound by Westbeld for the Firebirds.
Thornton with the ball up top.
Thornton trying to get some separation between Velasco and herself. And Fairmont's going to call a timeout.
Yeah.
He's going to call a full timeout.
Finn is not liking what he's been seeing the last couple minutes, and he's going to have to settle his team. maybe something you try again is that play where you had both Bartley and Westbeld down there, and then Westbeld just kind of cleared out last second, able to give Bartley the room. You're gonna want to draw something like that up in order to get you guys the lead again. And then if you're Finn, you just tell them, like, look, they've only scored 35 points. We're playing really good defense. Let's just keep it up. Just emphasize like defending the three-point line and keeping the ball out of McMahon's hands. You guys got this, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, offensively, they've only scored 35 too. So I mean, that's a big thing too. A lot of points left on the floor for both teams here. A lot of missed threes, a couple missed free throws for both teams. But what has kept this team, I mean, Fairmont has had so many second chance points that they've missed or ended up throwing it away, that could be the difference maker in this game down the stretch here. We've only got a minute 32 left in the game, and Fairmont is going to be inbounding it from the far half.
Thornton will be the inbounder.
Thornton's going to give it to Hollinger. Now you can give it to Webster. She went to the backcourt, and normally they give it to her in the backcourt. Hollinger gives it over to Thornton. Thornton over to Webster, guarded by Smith. Back out Westbeld. Back out to Thornton.
On the wing.
A minute 15 left and counting. Hollinger. Back now Westbeld. This is where you want the ball in your best player's hand as we approach a minute left in the game.
It looks like Webster was going to pull that one for a minute.
Gives it back out to Thornton. Back to Webster. Webster trying to find some separation between her and Velasco.
That's really good defense on Ship right there in that possession. She wasn't allowing Westbeld to get her position. She wasn't allowing her to get a good spot inside.
They're going to call a foul on Cody McMahon away from the ball. And this is Fairmont, one of their best scoring plays is on the inbound. Gets it into Westbeld with 55 seconds left. Westbeld drives to the paint, off the glass, is good.
And Jared, sometimes when you watch her, she looks like a big man. Sometimes when you watch her, she looks like a guard. Like, that was amazing. That was so fluid. Nice little hop step and lays it up off the glass.
39 seconds left and counting. Fairmont up 37 to 35. You hear both teams, or both sides are trying to pump their team up. And if you're Fairmont, you don't want to lose it on the last second shot. You've got a couple fouls to give if you want to. Velasco drive to the paint. Shot was blocked, but she's fouled by Westbeld, and that is going to be number 4 on Westbeld.
She's got to be careful now. There's only 17.8 seconds, or 17.9 seconds, but at this rate, we might have some extra time.
Overtime.
So you don't want to play around and get that extra one.
No, and I can almost tell if Velasco makes both of these, Finn's holding this for the last shot.
Oh yeah, he's a conservative type of coach. As Velasco knocks down the first one. And I'll tell you what, that was a really nice drive by Velasco. We haven't really seen that much from her in this game.
Drive.
Yeah, but she was able to get, she was able to find a crease and get in there quickly, put it up.
Second one is up and good.
37 all.
17.9 seconds left. And you can tell if Fairmont brings the ball up court quickly, Finn's going to call a timeout at half court. But Webster, and no, they're not. This is going to be the final shot of regulation, tied at 37. Webster at half court, guarded by Kenzie Smith. Fakes the handoff to Bartley. Webster gives it to Hollinger, and Finn calls a timeout. 4.2 seconds left.
And I'll tell you what, that was a really good timeout there by Finn, because they were about to dump it down low to Westbeld, and she was being doubled. If you throw that down inside, that's a turnover. They had two guys there. They had two players in great position, so there was no way that thing was getting through.
4.2 seconds left. Tied up at 37. When we made the schedule at the beginning of this basketball season, these are the games we lived up for, and these are instant classics between two huge rival schools. Fairmont has the ball, and I think maybe one timeout left.
Yeah,
so,
I definitely agree, Jared. These were the games that we were looking at because we knew McMahon coming in, was going to be a monster. Velasco, she's been here a couple years, and we know who plays here for Fairmont. Yeah. We know who plays here for Fairmont. So we knew that this was going to be a highly anticipated game.
So if you're Fairmont in this huddle, I think Centerville anticipates you trying to feed the ball somewhere to Westbeld. I think you let her go out, get as many people on her, and I think you've got to try and inbound it to Bartley underneath the basket. Or, well, it's not going to be, it is an inbound underneath the basket, so we'll see. Or no, it's actually side out.
Let's see if Westbeld comes and sets a pick for Barkley. Gives her some room, maybe.
That could be big. Thornton inbounds it to Bartley. 4.2 seconds
Goes
left.
over
Gives
the
it back
top.
to Thornton. Down low to Westbeld. Westbeld was fouled with 0.6 of a second left.
Does that send them to the line?
No, that's Centerville's only their 5th foul. So
That was a great foul by Centerville. They were able to knock the ball out of her hands and then not foul her before she was able to regather, so she wasn't able to get a shot up. That was a great defense.
And now Fairmont calls another timeout, a full timeout. Now if you're Fairmont, 0.6 of a second, you've got to give it to Hollinger on the inbound. She has the quickest release. Her or Webster has got to be the one to take this final shot in regulation.
Yeah, I don't see Finn trying to draw up a lob or something inside, because that's the only other thing you have if you're going in. That's the only option you have if you're going inside. You know, you can't draw something up to get it inside. You have to throw a lob and hope that they're able to get off the glass. So I would agree. They're probably going to Hollinger in this circumstance.
So here we go, 0.6 of a second.
And if you're Centerville, you just cannot allow anything quick. Literally, you have to play defense for 6 seconds. You can't allow anything.
0.6 of a second. Inbound, Westbeld.
They tried the lob
and she
off
was
her hand out of bounds. Finn is begging for a foul, but they're not going to give it to him.
It looked like Westbeld might have been had her arm drugged, but I don't know. But overtime basketball. We went to overtime last night in the junior varsity game between Springboro and Miamisburg. We're going into overtime tonight for a titanic battle between Centerville and Fairmont girls, number 1 and number 3 in the area in state polls. And we just get 4 more free minutes of basketball.
This is awesome, Jared. It was such an exciting fourth quarter with McMahon finally able to start to begin to find a rhythm, you know. It's going to be interesting to see if she can carry that over into these final 4 minutes and if she's going to be able to get her Elks to the W tonight over what's widely considered the best team in the area.
Yeah, and this one's going to be huge. Westbeld has 4 fouls.
Yeah, so I would think if you're Centerville, you have to try and give it to McMahon and tell her, hey, attack her. Just get her out of the game.
Right. Now everybody can catch their breath. Now we got 4 more minutes of basketball here in Centerville. You're going to have Bartley go up against McMahon for the jump. Each team gets a timeout added, so I think Fairmont will have 2, and I think Centerville will have 3. End of 4 minutes. So here we go. Ball is in the air, and Centerville wins the opening tip. And if you're Fairmont, you take that, and now you got the possession arrow.
Yeah. Velasco was about to pass it to the corner. Now she does. Gets it down low to McMahon.
McMahon's shot is no good. And you see, smart defense there by Finn. Switch, put Bartley on her. Only 2 fouls on Bartley.
Exactly. I was just about to say that, Jared.
Webster kicks it out to Bartley. Back out to Hollinger. And now Fairmont's going to hold it here for a second, try and get something going.
And, you know, I think Bartley might have a little more strength than Westbeld as well. So, you know, it's going to be a little easier for her to be able to guard McMahon.
Hollinger 3, and Hollinger drills a deep 3 to put the Firebirds up 3. Just over a minute into overtime gone.
That was a big shot, and we've talked all game about
only her 3rd made 3 of the game, but none bigger than that right there.
For sure, Jared. We've talked all game about how, you know, important the 3-point game was to Centerville tonight, but, well, here lately it's become a big factor for Fairmont as well.
Right. Centerville has definitely fallen off the cliff when it comes to 3-point shooting from first to second half. And Fairmont kind of picked it up in the role reverse. Fairmont playing that tight 2-3, 3-2 switching zone. And you see Finn jumping on the sideline, telling his team to get up. Velasco pulls up from the free throw line. The shot is good.
That was a nice shot by Velasco. He's able to find the soft spot in the defense and pull up for a nice, easy jumper.
Yeah, cuts it to a 1-point lead. Firebirds 40-39.
Thornton gets it outside.
Ooh.
Now Webster on the wing. Over to Westbell.
Kicks it back out. And Webster's going to wisely dribble out. 2 minutes, 10 seconds left and counting. Westbell gives it off to Hollinger. She made a huge three the last possession. Let's see if the Firebirds try and work something to her again.
Thornton now gets it up top. Back over to Hollinger.
Hollinger guarded by George.
And they're defending her much better now than what they were earlier.
Westbell turnaround shot is good.
What a nice possession by Centerville. Worked it around, got the defense to move around a little bit. And then they dump it inside to their best player. They're going to call the charge on McMahon, and Finn is going nuts.
I've never seen him lose his excitement. McMahon, that'll be her 4th foul now. I've never seen Finn get that excited on a charge.
What a great defensive sequence. But back on the other end, what a beautiful play.
Oh, that was excellent
by the
sequence
offense.
by Fairmont.
You know, they were able to get it to Westbell late, and she just, you know, off the glass, beautiful.
And there was a few times down low that Ship had her arm pinned against her body that the ref should have called but didn't. I don't know, miss what do you want to call it? Not being able to in the right place, right time to see it. But she basically shot it one-handed because her arm was pinned against her.
But it didn't even matter. Still made it look easy.
And just think, these two schools, Fairmont and Centerville, we got their game next Tuesday, but it's going to be the boys' game down at Trent. Fairmont just beat Wayne last night by 15, the boys did. And Centerville beat around a 500 Springfield team last night here. So it's definitely going to be a good game there.
And I'll tell you what, that could be a big boost for either Fairmont, for Fairmont men's, you know, going into the postseason, coming down the stretch, being able to get a big win like that against Wayne. Wayne might not be as good as what they've been in past years. It's still Wayne.
Right. And they have Fairmont has a game, Beaver Creek, this Friday too at home. So they got 2 huge wins against teams that are ahead of them in G-Walk rankings that could come out and be huge for rankings ahead.
And big miscue by Bartley as she throws it way behind Webster. That's a big break for the Elks as now they get the ball back with 1:33, down only 3. Velasquez looked like she almost pulled that right off the inbound.
I thought she was going to shoot it right there. Under a minute and a half left in overtime. Fairmont up 3, 42-39.
I think if you're going to shoot a 3 right here, if you're Centerville, you're going to go for either
I would have to
George or
say
Stanley,
George,
because those two they've been hitting like a good amount of their 3-pointers tonight.
3 for 4 for George and 3 for 5 for Stanley in the game. And we're just about a minute left. Velasco kicks it back out. George shoots a deep 3, and it's no good. And it's going to go back to the Firebirds. 58.2 seconds left.
Not quite enough. That one was a little too deep, taking it from the volleyball line out there.
If she was maybe a step or two closer, I think that was nothing but net.
Yeah, she's been so hot tonight. You can't afford to leave her open, but that one's just a little too far out there.
And now Fairmont gonna just try and pass it around.
I like how Westbell said, just give it to me, let me get it up, then we'll run the clock.
Right. And now 39 seconds left and counting. Centerville has, their next foul is a 1-and-1, so I think you just gotta wait for him to be in the right hands.
They just doubled Westbell, and when they did, it left Thornton open in the corner, and they foul her as she starts to go to the line.
Thornton shooting, that's not a bad foul that's a bad foul for the Elks. It's almost 63% from the line.
Definitely a capable 3-point shooter.
Free throw is up and good. That puts it to a 4-point game. 30.6 seconds left.
And if they're able to hang on, this is going to be a really nice win for Fairmont. It's just Thornton's going to miss the second one.
But that's okay. You get the clock going.
McMahon attacking.
Velasco drives in, and Fairmont. Thornton with a reach-in foul.
And that was a really good foul because
Finn's not liking it, but I think it's a good foul.
I understand that you don't like it from a coach's perspective, but if you were watching after Velasco kicked it, the open man in the corner made the 3. So
it's still just 1-and-1 though too. Velasco makes the first.
You don't necessarily love it, especially when you put their best shooter at the line, but it's definitely better than a made 3.
Velasco to cut it to a 2-point game. Shots up, and shots good. Prefer's going to call a timeout. 24.2 seconds left. Fairmont up to 43-42, or 43-41.
And Velasco shoots it at 81% on the season. So those were a couple of easy free throws for her.
And if you're Centerville in this, you've got to come out and try and trap the ball in the backcourt. If not, try and get a backcourt violation, and then you got to foul.
Yeah,
it's still the 1-and-1.
You have to do it quickly though, and you would think that maybe you're trying to get it when Webster has the ball. You know, maybe try and foul her. She shoots 55%, which is probably going to be the worst free throw, the worst free throw shooter that Fairmont puts out on the court.
And I don't know. I've watched Webster all 4 years. She lives for moments like this. She has ice through her veins. I've seen her knock down clutch free throws to ice games, so huge threes to win.
So 55% might not be
right. 55% is just what the stat says. Fairmont barely gets it in. Hollinger comes away with it.
She almost loses it out of bounds, picks up her dribble.
Gives it to Bartley. Now Westbeld, 18 seconds left. She ducks the foul.
Barely able to get it across the front court.
And she's fouled with 13.8 seconds left. She did go 1-for-1 earlier in the game from the free throw line.
Kind of wonder what Hollinger was thinking, because I would have thought she should have brought it all the way forward.
She should have, but I think she was bumped from behind, and the refs didn't call it because, I mean, watching Finn, I mean, he's calling for the bump every time. I think that she was bumped from behind. That's why she lost the control for a second. And you see here, Fairmont is putting everybody back.
Playing smart defense. This rebound does not matter.
No.
So you just have to make sure that you're playing defense down at the other end. Misses the front end of the 1-and-1. McMahon gets the rebound. She's going to push it up the court.
Gives it over to Velasco. 9 seconds left. Over in the corner. 8 seconds left. Thornton, 5, 4. Velasco trying to get some separation. Velasco, circus shot. Won't count at the buzzer. And it's no good. Fairmont survives the thriller in overtime.
Ship got the offensive rebound, had an opportunity to tie the game, but wasn't able to put in the easy putback.
And that's you get a circus shot like that from your best player. I mean, Ship had the shot at the buzzer, just couldn't put enough up on it. So, I mean, Fairmont wins a thriller. No doubt the player of the game has to be the McDonald's All-American Medal of Westbelt down the line.
For sure, Jared. She was great all game long. Even when she got in foul trouble, she didn't let it bug her. You know, she just was able to finish off the game in a very, very good way.
All right, now let's see what Coach's son Fielding had to say about that game. All right, Fielding, you just saw your dad win a thriller on the road in overtime.
Yep.
How happy is this locker room night right now for Fairmont?
I don't know. Pretty big, though.
This is a huge win over a big rivalry school. Do you think Fairmont has enough momentum to win Saturday night for senior night against Miamisburg?
Yep.
All right.
So.
You heard it there, Fielding. His dad's going to be super happy for the car ride home tonight. Thank you for watching tonight's game on Facebook, and we'll see you next week. Centerville versus Fairmont for the boys at Trent.